All right, let's go ahead and get started. We'll jump in. Tonight, we're talking about the Evergreen pipeline. So, how pet business owners are finding new clients. Um, Hosted by myself, I am Abby. I'm with the team at Pocket Suite. I'm joined by my colleague Allison. So, we'll get into some intros here. Again, my name's Abby. Nice to meet you if I haven't met you before. I come from the dog world professionally. I've pretty much always been in dogs, starting as a dog trainer, and I'm still very active in training and sports with my personal dogs. Beyond that, I've also worked in pet care software for the last 4 years, helping pet businesses find the best software fit for them. And I am crazy about Boykins. And so that's kind of my fun little pet tidbit there. I'm joined by my colleague Allison. I'll let her introduce herself and take it from there.
Thanks, Abby. Hi, yes, I'm Allison Fisher. I am in an interesting position. I own three locations of a pet resort. We serve somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 dogs or more, depending on the time of season, every day, which is fun. And I came to Pet Care SaaS about 4.5 years ago. And today I'm leading the professional services team at Pocket Suite. So we kind of take care of everything that it takes to get people on our software and get them running really efficiently in their businesses. And super passionate about business operations and just how we in the pet industry can be as efficient as possible and leverage tech as much as possible. And I am a terrier fanatic. I lost my schnauzer of 14 years a few months ago, and I have two, if you believe it, Kerry Blue Terriers, both females in the same house. It's miraculous. So happy to be here today. I'm going to lead us through, and Abby's going to help us kind of talk a little bit about the perspective again on the Evergreen pipeline with our customers. It's becoming and has been for some time just more and more and higher priority for customer acquisition. I think any business conversation I'm in or when we're talking with our pet care industry folks, but customer acquisition is really top of the name of the game and top of the food chain as it relates to keeping those businesses busy and full. And so today we're gonna spend some time talking about that, but I want to just introduce Pocket Suite if you're not a Pocket Suite user, who Pocket Suite is. We launched in 2014 and serve over 1,000 pet businesses. So Pocket Suite, while today's webinar is about the pet service industry, we actually have a broad range of experience across multiple verticals, pets being one, and the earliest adopter of the software was a dog trainer. And so we love to see that. Pocket Suite handles scheduling, multi-service bookings, Google Leads reviews, online leads, smart campaigns being one of our really cool features that I think sets us apart from some of the other softwares in the industry. Client contracts, intake forms, vaccine management, all the things. And then smart reporting, which it really gets me out of bed in the morning to say that it's an operational tool as well, not just managing, check-ins, checkouts, and those kinds of things, but also the teams in my facilities being able to use operational reports to make sure we're taking good care of the pets, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And then, of course, the most important part of business, which is collecting those dollars, because none of us are here to volunteer. At least I'm not. And so invoicing and packages and subscriptions and memberships of sorts and all of that Pocket Suite can do. And if you want to go to the next slide. So a little bit about what we'll cover today. And, my number one rule when I do a webinar is I want to walk away, or as an attendee, I want to walk away with something concrete that I can go and do and or check in my business and make sure that I'm kind of checked off and doing the things that most of the people are doing. And so today we'll talk a little bit, obviously, about why word of mouth it is really important, but it does kind of create a ceiling of sorts. We'll talk about local search foundation, Google service ads, and verified reviews. Big deal. I know most of us probably know that. Targeted social ads and lead magnets, partnership marketing, and kind of closing the loop on how does all of that work. And we will end in less than an hour. We'll make sure we don't keep you here too long, but we'll give you a little bit of an action plan around the things that we're talking about today. Our slides are notably going to be more wordy than I would really normally want, but I want to call out that the reason we do this is because we will send recordings and follow-ups for you, and we want you to have much of what we're talking through today on these slides. So if they're a little more wordy than what you generally are used to seeing, that's on purpose. We want you to have as many, again, concrete notes and things to take away. So the reason why we thought today's topic was important is because we recently have completed a pet boarding and daycare benchmarking survey, the largest of its kind, with results being almost 500 respondents from our survey. We partnered with the Dog Gurus, who I'm sure most of you are aware of in the pet industry, and IBPSA, along with ResearchScape, who was our research company that helped us do this. And we surveyed what are people doing. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about today relates to the data that we have coming out of that survey. And so we'll talk a little bit about how word of mouth, and if you want to go on to the next slide, actually, Abby, that'd be great. We'll talk a little bit about word of mouth and how that plays in with what we're doing from a business operations perspective and from, again, customer acquisition. 60% of all businesses grew their revenue year over year, often tied more to intentional client acquisition. So to talk about that client referral ceiling or word of mouth ceiling, we know that many of the successful businesses that responded to this survey are doing paid ads, digital ads, and showing paid acquisition comes as a natural part of growth. If you are a facility that's serving 10 customers a day, that's probably not a realistic line item in your budget to want to do paid digital ads. But I'll call out that 49%, so almost half of the folks doing $1 million or more are doing some form of digital ads. And so you can dip your toe in there. And I always like to talk, kind of to both sides of the spectrum, the smaller and growing and the ones that are kind of in that growth phase. What this is telling us is that the successful ones, financially successful at least, are more than half of them probably doing digital ads. And from that perspective, I would recommend to smaller facilities, you can dip your toe in with a boosted post here and there, or one specific item that you're doing, get your name out there and put a little bit of dollars towards it and see if you can get some incremental growth with that. And then the other thing, which I think is really interesting, it's not something I've had success with in my business, but this survey certainly says that 39% of, again, those $1 million operators have a formal referral program with, built with a strong customer base. I have very sticky customers, which is my favorite phrase. They're coming to my facilities 1, 2, 3 times a week, in some cases for daycare. I just have never been able to get the referral program off the ground. Now we have great word of mouth, great Google reviews, and all the things, but my program had never really got off the ground. Clearly, almost 40% of folks who are in the 1 million plus category are having that success. So if you're on the call and you're having success with that, I'd love to see that in the chat. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So if you're doing a referral program, we'd love for you to share kind of what that is looking like for you. And we can certainly, Abby's monitoring the questions, and we can come back to that as well. Thanks, Abby. So next, I actually went through this slide and went back and underlined it. I want to read this first sentence verbatim for you. Pet parents search the way they live close to home on their phones and often mid-problem. And I underlined and bolded often mid-problem for you because I think it's so important when we're talking about having a digital presence online or any sort of presence where people can find you. You have to think about how the customers are interacting with you. Close to home, you need to make sure that it's abundantly clear where you are and where the service area that you're serving is. Secondly, obviously on their phones, how are they interacting with you? I would wager to guess 80% are on their phones. Very few are probably sitting down at their desk searching for you. And thirdly, and most important, mid-problem. I always use the example of I'm sitting on my couch at night, my dog is laying next to me, I'm petting her, and I'm like, what is this mat behind her ear? I need to book a grooming appointment. Or I'm talking with my husband about our plans for the weekend. Oh, we need somebody to take care of the dogs. They have to be able to find you on their phone in the middle of the problem happening, or they will move on. And so here, our really basic recommendation is a complete Google business profile with all the most up-to-date things. And I probably should have highlighted or underlined recent photos. I always recommend to people, don't rely on your customers to be the ones that are uploading to your Google business profile from reviews. If you don't have access to your own Google business profile, definitely do that. Definitely make sure that it's up to date and make sure that you're refreshing it as much as possible, because those people want to find you and Google is the one that's going to get them there. Any comments in the chat yet, Abby? Not yet. Small group tonight too. If you're interested, you're welcome to come off mute and ask a question or make a comment. Happy to have you do that. So Google local service ads, I would be interested to know if any of you have seen the acronym of LSA, but they're built specifically for service businesses, and they generally appear above traditional results. So most of us are service businesses. I don't know that there's probably anybody on the call today that are, selling pet supplies necessarily. But the benchmarking data shows that paid digital ad adoptions climb steadily with business scale from 15% among operators that are at 150K and below to 49% at 1 million plus. And they are leveraging the Google LSA because it's putting them above the rest of everyone. So just kind of a tip there relating to how your Google is showing up. And again, if you're considering paid ads, thinking about where those dollars need to go to work best for you.
All right, we have a contribution to the chat here. I'm also going to allow within Zoom, I have to click allow to talk on everyone. So I'm going to do that. So now you are all in and on mute. Feel free to come off mute and, contribute. We'd certainly love a dialogue here. But Krista shared in the chat, we have a friend program where the new client
Yeah.
who passes a temperament test and the current client each get a $25 account credit. We include a refer a friend card in their onboarding packets as well. I like the play on words. It's really cute.
That is super cute. Just I could see like even sending that home. We sometimes will do ads in their boarding personal items, right? If the dogs are boarding with us, we're popping in little postcards that say like, here's a free frozen Kong on your next visit or something along those lines. So that might be a good idea to get those referral. I love the play on words.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Thanks.
I
Thanks
had
for
a
sharing.
program when I was managing a large team of dog trainers, and I know this is probably a little niche, but it's worth bringing up because our business relied so heavily on free consultations, and I know daycare is kind of similar. There's a meet and greet, there's a daycare a daycare intake process. I would pay my trainers for bringing in referrals because if they were going out to a brewery anyway and they want to bring their dog and they'd have a t-shirt with our logo on it, like it's not that hard to throw on a t-shirt with our logo, and people always come up and they go, wow, I wish my dog was trained that well. Or wow, wow, your dog is so well behaved. Oh, I'm actually a dog trainer. Do you want to come in for a free consultation? And so we kind of had that more grassroots referral program as well. Everybody knows somebody that has a dog.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Abby. Oh, sorry, we didn't go over this one yet. So this is kind of more of the same from the previous slide. I always tell people like this one's probably the one that you want to screenshot to understand how those Google LSAs are performing the best. I want to kind of highlight the fast response time. I know for all of us thinking about having a reservation specialist or a receptionist or someone that's like focused on your computer all day long, especially if you're in a growth phase where it's you and a couple of other employees, that's really difficult. But those lead times and those response times they do matter. And so wherever you are digitally, even Facebook, right? If people are messaging you and reaching out through Facebook Messenger, you will be favored if your response times are higher. So think about that, and also think about what AI tools you might be interested in putting in that at least are getting your customers back a response. I know I'll use Facebook as an example. You can set various responses that Facebook will respond with and even do it by times of day, right? If it's noon, and you normally are checking, just say like, hey, we received your message. We were busy taking care of pets. We'll be right back with you. But if it's, 10 p.m., once again, you want to meet them when they're having the problem. It might be like, we're out of office right now, but click this link to book with us and get them straight to your booking page. I always say this too. You have to meet your customers where they are. And if they're on Facebook and they want to book, you've got to get them fed into where they need to go to book you at the time, or they'll move on to some place that they can book at that very moment. Okay, this is one I referenced already, but targeting social ads and lead magnets. Again, a little bit wordy, but I think it's got some really nice meat here. But thinking about a well-targeted ad, it really can be as complex and detail-oriented and data-driven as you want it to be, but it also can be really basic, right? You can target specific local dog parks or pet-related pages, or maybe Abby, for example, is a part of a boykin group, and maybe you want to just go through your area and say, "Oh, there's these breed specific clubs in your area," and you can target those, and that can all be done in the micro level at which you can target is really miraculous, frankly. Um, and then the other thing that we mentioned here with these ads is it's like you really want to get your name out there in some cases, but you need a call to action or you need a way that you're getting something from that customer so you can continue and begin engaging with them. So some examples that I've seen work is like a free downloadable something. Fill in the blank of what that is, right? I love the Puppy's First Grooming Visit Guide. Like, here's the three things you should do for grooming for your new puppy. And it might even be just like a bullet point that says, play with their paws and manipulate their paws so they're comfortable being, touched and moved around and those kinds of things. But get those folks to download it because that will require you getting some contact information. And the contact information then can be filtered right into your leads funnel or your sales funnel. Anyone, let's pause here and ask just, are there any folks that are out there using targeted ads or lead magnets like we just referred or that we just referred to that are really working for you, or something that you may have tried that absolutely was not working? Because we'd love to learn about that as well. Anyone out there have something they'd like to share with the group? Again, you're welcome to come off mute or you can type in the chat as well. Nobody yet, but I'm going to share some ideas on the next one that might get us talking. So let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. Abby, one of my favorite ways to build marketing is through local relationships, and it seems kind of basic, but I think these are the ones that we often forget are available to us, and that we should continue to nurture, myself included. For the first few years of my business, it was like, I would just sort of sporadically think, oh, I should drop off cookies at a local vet's office or whatever. And now I actually have it calendared through the year what we're doing to nurture relationships. But again, finding those partnerships. And this is sort of a non-traditional way to do referrals, but it might be, hey, asking the vets, can we be your preferred groomer? Can we be your preferred puppy trainer or something along those lines? For me, I don't have formal referral plans, but I 3 times a year the groomers or excuse me, the vets are getting lunch from us, or at Christmas they're getting things. And so they are thinking of us, and we're very purposeful about communicating with them, our cleanliness policies, our licensing status. My favorite thing is annually when we get inspected, I write a nice letter to both our clients and our vet partners to say like, hey, again, we passed with flying colors. Or, there's been a couple of years where we've had like, one year we had a headspace issue on a dog. Like, he didn't have enough headspace in a kennel. It was like totally an oversight. I'm honest about it and say like, hey, this is what happened. This is what we're fixing on our licensing. Obviously that's like a minor issue, but I like to be transparent, and our vet partners specifically are happy to hear that, because then I think they can confidently recommend us in that way. So that's an option. The other thing from a partnerships perspective is I always recommend really non-traditional partnerships. We have a dry cleaner in our area that's really popular that most people use. And a couple times a year, we do like they're not door hangers, but they're like hanger hangers, right? So they send the hangers home with the dry cleaning, and it's got a little piece of a tag on it that says "Fantastic Fidos," whatever, free doggy daycare or whatever. And so we partner with local businesses that maybe be non-traditional, but that we have some cross clients. In that case, people who are spending money on dry cleaning probably do have expendable income for doggy daycare and those sorts of things. And so we're leveraging those kinds of partnerships as well.
I was going to ask, did they say, "Oh, we noticed there was some hair on your pants.
Actually,
You need
funny
to
you
call
bring
their
that up.
groomer."
The cross advertisement was she ran a really like near free, like I think it was like $15 special where she would wash giant dog, like put them in her giant machines and wash giant dog beds. And we passed out coupons to our clients, which was amazing. Like, who wants to mess with taking the foam out and doing all the things? And she was just, I think, inundated, frankly, when we did that special. It was really cool.
That's really cool. As someone who's I've been personally victimized by the big barker, with my Great Dane. I would have taken her up on that 1,000%. That's very cool. I love that. We did the same with vets as well, bringing donuts and things like that. And actually, Chick-fil-A, they allowed us to get out at the drive-through and work our dogs. We'd have our big van with our
Oh,
branding on it. And we'd take our dogs for lunch but then we'd work our dogs and people would be sitting in the drive-through. Oh my
love
gosh,
it.
that Great Dane is off leash with that little girl watching the show basically. And yeah, we patronized that Chick-fil-A a lot, and that was another great partnership. So good
You
point
just
of
gave me an
calling.
idea. I'm calling my team tomorrow. That's a great idea.
And they're all
Except for,
franchisors, the Chick-fil-A owner, so they're all local people, you know. And so yeah, if we do a
yeah,
big client appreciation event, I'll order catering from them. It's not
yeah,
just me advertising on their property, but it people are sitting in a drive-through on their phone. It's literally, especially for a dog trainer, it is a show waiting to happen.
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. Um, okay, on this slide in particular, I want to call out that some of you may be Pocket Suite customers today, some of you may not be. Um, for this slide in particular, I would encourage you to think about whatever software you're on, whether or not you can truly close the loop on whether when you're getting leads. So converting, obviously, from whichever channel you're doing, the Google LSA, social ads partnerships, any of that, only really works if you can then take the customer and push or take the lead and push them into customer status. And so we'll talk obviously about Pocket Suite's tech and how that's handled. And that is that Pocket Suite's leads feature connects you to the online booking directly. Really frictionless. I have experienced several softwares in the pet industry, and Pocket Suite, in my opinion, does really well with getting the customer straight to where they can book and not having to like go through a bunch of hoops. We want to again get that customer at the very minute that the problem is happening and grab their appointment as quick as possible. And then obviously online leads that turns into a contact form from your website or your social pages. So important that you go and audit that. And I told you at the beginning, I want you to walk away with concrete steps you can do. Audit your customer workflow. Go to your website or think about yourself as a potential customer, typing in Google dog training, typing in Google, pet boarding or whatever the keyword that would match with you. Where do you land in Google? Where do they find you on Facebook? How easy is it for them to book? When they message you on Facebook, what is that response? I encourage people to do that a few times a year. Like, think about all the ways that a customer gets to you and make sure that you've checked those to make sure you're happy with that. And then the thing that sorry, you can't skip the last bullet, Abby. Watch out with that trigger finger. The thing that I love about Pocket Suite is smart campaigns. And so what this looks like is really, if you're a marketer, drip, right? And so we're saying, if the client does this thing, send this thing, but also send this thing and this thing and this thing, right? So I haven't seen you in 90 days. I'm going to send you the software will automatically send you this personalized message to say, hey, Abby, we haven't seen your dog in a few days. Or, hey, Abby, we saw that you signed up as a customer or you sent in a lead form, but you didn't book anything. How can we help you? Or whatever you want. The Smart Campaigns in Pocket Suite is really nice to build dynamic lead capturing, dynamic nurturing of current customers. If you are a Pocket Suite user, we have a really awesome new feature, which is icons that we're not talking necessarily about today, but check that out. And there's some options for us to build icons and smart campaigns for you within your app. And it's a really great feature that I would love to talk more about. But we're here to talk about leads, so let's go on to the next slide.
Just to touch on this too, I think you make a really good point. When I'm in any other industry, if I'm looking at clothes for my daughter on a website, the first thing that pops up is give me your email and your phone number and I'll send you a coupon, right? How many times have I filled that out, but then not purchased something? And then I get a follow-up coupon from the website. Hey, you didn't actually buy anything. Here's 30% off. They're like bidding for my business. Here's 40% off. And they keep
Yeah.
going. That's kind of the thought process behind smart campaigns, right? How many people are landing on your website, giving you a little bit of info and then abandoning. This is now allowing you, like Allison said, to kind of continue to follow through, which is not something I've personally seen in the pet care space yet. It's something I'm seeing in other industries like retail.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's your second slide that I'm going to encourage you to take a snapshot of and paste on the background of your phone until you get it done. Here's your 1 week action plan. Here's the thing that if I were you and I was growing my business, I would walk away and say, these are the things that I'm doing immediately. Auditing your business, checking your reviews, pick one channel. We've talked about Google LSA. We talked about various ways that you can talk with your customer. Pick one channel to make it as strong as you possibly can, and then just do that over and over. Um, Again, set up your lead capture point. If you don't have a way to capture people's information as they're interacting with you, you need to do that, because then you can do things like smart campaigns that set it up to nurture those folks and get them booked. Confirm your response time. We talked about that. You've got to be quick on the draw. And it's hard to think about doing that when you're a one-man show or when you only have a few employees and those few employees are taking care of the customers or the pets. But you've got to have someone that can be interacting with your customers as well. And then track your bookings. I would literally go and look at what bookings you've been getting. Like if you have a new customer report or you're watching new customers that are coming in, spend 2 weeks just watching how that changes. My team, I have 4 people that are on the phones, just on front desks and reservation specialists. In June, we did a no missed call challenge. And I'm able to track in our phone system missed calls, and their challenge was they got a bonus every day. And it wasn't humongous, but it was enough to get them all going. And I just said, let's have no missed calls, right? Because every missed call is representing some kind of booking that we're probably losing if we can't get to the phone. And they ended up hitting, I think, out of the 20 days that they could get it, they hit it 13 days where we had 0 missed calls, which is pretty decent for the volume of calls that we're getting. So if you have a team or there's a few of you, build something really super simple to increase your response time, because I really promise, and that it's not even just phones, right? You got to get to reviews and all the things. But that's one that I would really focus on and recommend as well. Okay. Here we go. Same thing. This is just the same thing we talked about. Audit your Google business profile. Check your reviews. If you're not responding to every review, please do that. And then we put a pro tip in here. Use saved messages to send off one-off requests and systemize those requests with Pocket Suite's Google reviews. If you're in Pocket Suite, we can systemize sending a request for folks to give you a Google review, and that's only going to push you up in the SEO. And Google's going to favor that if you have more and more reviews.
Quick
And then
little note. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to jump in
go
here on
ahead.
reviews because this was something else we paid our trainers on was if and again, this is more for trainers and groomers, but it can also be for front desk specialists too that are checking out the dog, because in a lot of systems you can see who checked out the dog and who's responsible. It's a little bit of work, but essentially we would say, hey, if get a customer to leave a Google review and they mention you by name as their trainer, I'll pay you for that review. And the amount of success we had, and it was great because I'm able to pay my trainers more, which we know in this industry is huge. So having training your staff and incentivizing them to just ask, because people are already, oh my gosh, you get your dog back from the groomer. He's so cute. He looks great. Oh my goodness, he looks wonderful. He smells so good. That's okay. Yeah, I'm so glad you're happy. Would you mind leaving me a Google review? It really helps me out. Train your staff.
Yeah.
That helps as well.
This is not the first time I've heard you say this, Abby, and I need to implement this in my own facility. So I'm going to tell the team tomorrow. Do that. That's awesome. And then we talked about this already. Again, just pick that one channel to kind of strengthen your reviews, and I think you'll start to see, really good stuff happening there. Um, and if you want to move on, we kind of went through all of this before, but again, you'll receive this recording, and these are the things that I'm recommending. Um, Response time, and then tracking those bookings for a couple of weeks, up to 30 days, to see how things are going with
And I want to
your.
pause here too, Allison, because if you're
Sure.
not using Pocket Suite, one of the things that I love the most about Pocket Suite is that you're able to compare period over period so easily in your reporting right within the app. I'm a dog person. I'm not a numbers or computer person. So the fact that Pocket Suite has in green, hey, private lessons are up 11%. Like that is so simple and easy for me to look at. I don't, if you are using a system where you have to pull multiple reports just to be able to compare the data on your bookings. How did my bookings, for private lessons do last week compared to this week when I advertised them? If you're looking in multiple different places, you're on the wrong system.
Yeah, my favorite thing is if you can't do it in 2 minutes or less, you're on the wrong system, because you
Yeah.
should be able to pull it up in your pocket and be able to see these kind of basic top line metrics that you should be looking at
Yeah,
regularly.
absolutely. Which I guess we have here on the bottom right. If you're not yet on
Yeah.
Pocket Suite, we have a free trial.
Yeah, which is the next slide, Abby. I'll let you talk about that.
Absolutely, because I am happy to meet with anyone as well to go a little bit deeper into Pocket Suite and who we are. These webinars are informational and they're meant to help anyone, whether you're using Pocket Suite or not. We're here to share the data from our industry benchmarking survey first and foremost. However, a lot of this also comes from, over 10 years of serving pet business pros. And so we do have a pet resort edition, which comes preloaded with certain tools that are going to fit our industry specifically. And you can actually see here on the right-hand side, we've got a nice kennel map that can be color coded. You can click and drag dogs. We've got templated reservation types where all you have to do is kind of pop in your pricing and it's ready to go. We've even got templates for things like those smart campaigns Allison and I were talking about, right? Marketing templates. We've got the Google Leads and Reviews tied in. So it's truly an end-to-end system from the minute you interact with a lead until you take that first payment from them and then bring them back, right? So again, happy to do a free demo for anyone who wants to take a deeper dive. And also, we do have a 30-day free trial. So here's some more information for us. Um, and yeah, we want to help build that lead flow. I know specifically, again, speaking as a dog trainer, I was training in the height of COVID. In 2021, I trained over 1,000 dogs. It was just in one year. Dogs and leads were falling out of the sky. And now we're actually seeing it too on the breed enthusiast side. I actually saw a statistic just yesterday that for breeders, our puppy homes are down 40%. We're unable to find, or even breed litters because we don't have any homes lined up. And so the everybody got their dogs during COVID. No one's getting new dogs. Veterinary prices are up over 50% for services since pre-COVID numbers. So again, we're going to build that lead flow so that you can get the dogs that are out there to kind of keep coming back because it's not COVID. Dogs aren't falling out of the sky anymore, unfortunately. Maybe for rescues, but any questions, please feel free to drop in the chat, everyone, or feel free to come off of mute. Would love to hear some thoughts. Is anyone else kind of feeling the pain too of kind of the post-COVID lull? Has everyone here been in the industry since COVID? I feel like that, or before. I know, Allison, you have.
We're all tired. We're all tired, Abby.
Mm.
Sylvia's
Hey,
still.
hey, ladies. Hey,
Hi, Genevieve.
hi. I am a pet sitter, and I've been doing this for it's like almost 3 years now. So I am, post COVID, but I'm
Yeah,
here by the Delaware beaches. So there is a lot of animals here.
yeah.
I'm really scaling high end, and I found you guys. I'm on the free trial. This is like I think I'm like 2 weeks in or something. And I just have some questions about the lead. So what I've been doing, I think that I'm all set up. And so I'm just kind of confused or curious about like exactly what is the lead, I guess the link that I would share. So what I'm sharing right now is just the link that says start here, that has like where you book your meet and greet, and then it has
Yep.
categories of my services, and I have three categories. So is that what the lead is, or are you saying that the lead is where they just put in some basic information?
Yeah, so actually, Genevieve, you're not far from me. I'm on Kent Island, Maryland. So I'm just over the Bay
Okay,
Bridge. Yeah. So
cool.
I've been hiding in my home from the tourists for the past
I
week over
know,
the 4th of July.
same. I know. It's been
But
rough.
it's been brutal. I can't go anywhere. But
Hmm.
we do have a separate lead form, or contact us form is what a lot of folks call it. You know what?
Okay.
I'll drop my Pocket Suite email here in the chat. Feel free, and actually I'll also drop. Let me see if
Okay.
I can I'll pull up my meeting link here for you as well. Let me, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna actually put my direct booking, and this goes for anyone. Um, I'm going to drop a link that you all can book with me directly for some extra one-on-one. I'd love to dive into your trial a little bit deeper to help
Okay,
you set
great.
that up because that's
Thank
so
you.
critical. And I'm so glad you brought that up for anyone else that's on the call as well. There is a difference between where we're asking the client to book within Pocket Suite and then where we're just saying, contact us. I kind of like to call it like the SOS feature, right? At least again, from a dog trainer perspective, if they're filling out my contact us form, they're waving the white flag. They're like, I need help.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, so I just dropped my email in the chat and my Pocket Suite booking link, so you can actually feel free to grab some time on my calendar.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
And then
thanks.
I'm sure Abby, you'll tell her this, but Genevieve, there's welcome calls and office hours that you're welcome to attend every week. We do open office hours and welcome calls. So I'm sure Abby will get you all that information. But yeah, jump in there. That's great.
Yeah,
Great to
I
have you.
did speak with a gentleman. I can't,
Josh.
Josh,
Oh,
yeah.
Rocco. Oh, well, one of
Oh,
the two.
perfect. Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you helped out, no problem.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, and I did try to connect my because I do have a Google business account and I did try to connect it and it said it wasn't working. So I'm not
Hmm.
really sure.
Yeah, we can troubleshoot with you, no problem.
Okay.
Great.
that's a great
Yay.
question.
Awesome.
I
Thank
just
you so
I
much.
just wanted to share. Hi, I'm Sylvia. I've
Hi.
been a Puppet Suite user for 3 years. Um, my favorite feature is the little chat embed that you can put in your website. It's like a
Yep.
live chat feature, and I
Mhm.
get leads like that all the time because people will go on the website and type into there and they don't realize that it's not a chat bot. They're actually texting me on the
Yeah.
Pocket Suite app. So
You're so right.
that's always been like a really wonderful feature for me. And then I'm just automatically talking to the client and finding out what their needs are. And then for me, my like sort of arrangement for business capture is then I send them a link to set up a free phone consultation. And then I'll get like more details and they'll fill out a form and I'll get all the dogs' information and their address so I'll know where they're located. But yeah, just that quick chat button that says chat with me now is really helpful.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Sylvia. That's completely
I love
true. So
that
yeah,
feature too. Get them to say I need help, and then you're like you have their contact information, and that's that. It's great.
yeah, it's they and like Sylvia said, they don't realize it's a chat on the website, but how it interfaces with Pocket Suite is it comes through as a text essentially or a message in Pocket Suite for you guys. So you're not going to a separate system to manage some kind of online chat. It's all within the Pocket Suite system so that you're not manning a bunch of different channels.
I could see that being good for you, Genevieve, from like your customer's perspective. If they go to your website and they just want to say like, I want to set up, 2 walks a day. How do I do that? Then you could either have some saved messages that you're going to automatically send when they inquire, or you could be, as Sylvia is saying, just interacting with those things as they come in. That's great.
Yeah, they can
What
ask
else?
questions. Do you do pet sitting for dogs that required insulin injections? Like if they had
Why
like
was
a
I going to
random
say the same
question.
thing? Why was I going to say the same thing? I mean,
Raise your hand if you've ever had to pet sit or take care of a dog that was not yours with
too many
injectable
times. Too
medication.
many times.
Oh man.
Sylvia.
Sylvia raised her hand. Yep,
Well,
everyone.
I once had a dog in a wheel. This is my early days when I was running my first location. I had a dog in a wheelchair that, in hindsight, like she should not have been in our facility, but she was the sweetest little thing. So we're like helping her out. It was such a deal. But
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I
those
love,
people are clients for life now because we took care of their wheelchair dog, which was
and they'll
awesome.
tell everyone. Sylvia said a 16-year-old pug.
Oh my God, you cannot, Sylvia. I can just see the crusty nose and the face right
Oh, I
now. That's
love it.
funny.
I can
I love it.
smell it. I can smell it from here.
Yes,
Oh,
his name was Ozzy, and he also required insulin.
Yep.
Ozzy.
Yep.
God bless him.
I'll tell this story really quick. My first weekend of, so I bought my facility from a woman who had 3 employees. Today we have 3 locations. It's been an amazing ride over the last decade or so. But first weekend, first big drop off, this woman comes in and hands me a 17-year-old Italian Greyhound. And she said, if he dies this weekend, it's going to be the best. And I was just like, please don't put that on me. And he lived to be almost 19 years old. It was crazy. But she's like, if he dies, it's okay. Don't worry about it. He loves it here. Oh, please don't
He
do that
loves
to
it
me.
here. If he's gonna
Yeah.
go, it might as well be here.
You
Like,
might as well be here. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't breathe for 3 days that weekend.
OMG. I love an Italian Greyhound. I'm
Yeah.
always afraid I'm gonna break it, but I love it. I
Yeah.
do I do nail trims all the time for Italian Greyhound right now because the owner's afraid to cut the nails. And it shakes the
That's
whole time.
funny. Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
oldest dog anyone? Drop in the chat. What's the oldest dog you've ever cared for? Now, as a trainer, I had a 12-year-old German short-haired pointer. So that's pretty old for being trained. Why are we getting our 12?
Yeah.
It's because it couldn't walk on a leash.
Ooh.
17 Yorkie. Yeah, I believe
That one needs the in-home visits from Genevieve without a doubt.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
All
so.
right, guys. Thank you so much for the conversation today. Thanks for joining us. We're doing these webinars every other week. We're hoping you're walking away with something concrete that you can go and do in your business. And if we can be of service in helping you with that, as I mentioned, I'm here because I'm passionate about tech meeting business. And so Abby's contact information is there. If I can ever do anything, she can get you to me as well. And I appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah. Thank you,
I'll
everyone,
see
for
you
joining
soon.
us. Really appreciate it. Genevieve, I look
Thank
forward
you
to
so
chatting with you
much.
more.
Yes,
Thanks,
absolutely. Me
everyone.
too. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. See you
Bye
soon.
bye.